Today I'm going to show you a completely free, awesome website that will help you optimize your last mile trades. Now you might be wondering, what is a last mile trade? Let me explain this to you in something that you might have heard before. If you're trying to go to work, most people would say, for example, take the bus to go to work. So they would go on the bus, they would get off at the nearest bus stop to their job, and then they would have to walk that last mile to work, or they would have to take an Uber on that last mile to get to their job. And what that last mile ends up doing is it ends up being the least efficient part of their entire trip. So although it might not affect them short term, maybe they're just saying, well, I'm just spending $5 on that Uber, or I'm just walking half an hour. Although it might not sound that important in the short term, in the long term, that can end up being hours of your life or thousands of dollars of your money, and it really does affect you. So a last mile trade is entering in your trades, really taking into account the short term price. So whenever most people enter a trade, for example, on this chart right here, I'm looking at the trend, and if I were to enter a trade right now, I probably wouldn't think about the 1 minute price on this chart. I wouldn't think about the price movement on the 15-second time frame. So if I'm looking to enter, for example, right here, and I think the market's going to go upwards, I just go ahead and do a market order and I don't really think about it. However, if I used this website, then I would be able to get in at a better price and have a safer trade at a better level, and also just make more profit in general. Although it's only maybe $10 in profit extra, that's still $10 that will add up over time. And it's awesome that there's a free website that allows you to do this. Now, before I get into this video and showing you the website on optimizing your last mile trades, I would just like to say, make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. And make sure to do your own research before entering in any positions. This is purely for educational purposes only, and I'm not a financial advisor. Now let's get right into the video and talking about last mile trades and the current Bitcoin situation. So quickly, let's look at the Bitcoin long term. This is something that I just like to do every single video. So in my last video, I did mention that I had a long position at the $11,875 level, and we did end up making quite a bit of profit. And I actually ended up closing my trade right here after we broke the recent high on this move. And this is purely because it was near my target and I didn't want to, miss out on any of the profit that I had. I knew that I could re-enter if the market continued to go upwards at a later point. So I decided to exit right here, even though it wasn't directly in my target. It was close enough to my target where I knew that it was a safe exit and I wouldn't miss out on too much profit. Now, it ended up being a good exit on the trade, and Bitcoin ended up falling all the way to where it is today, and it is now meeting the long-term uptrend on Bitcoin from the bottom at $10,000 that I did talk about in my previous video. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But now that we have the Bitcoin analysis out of the way, let me get into talking about this awesome free website. Now you might be wondering, what is this website? What is this little widget here that I have on my screen? So this website is called AGAR.trade or Aggr.trade, whatever you want to call it. Now, let me explain to you what is happening here on the chart. So there are multiple very interesting things that this website gives you. So this website aggregates, that's why it's called Aggr, a bunch of different high volume cryptocurrency exchanges, and it lists here, as you can see below, it lists the highest volume trades made by people on these exchanges. So for example, as you can see here, obviously BitMEX is one of the highest volume exchanges, so most of these trades will be on BitMEX. And here you can see the largest traders on BitMEX making trades and what their positions are. So here you see a $200,000 long on BitMEX. Here you see a $340,000 short, and then obviously there are some that are millions of dollars. So the whole point of this is that you get to see where the general market direction is and where most of the money is going. So if most of the people are betting that the market is going to go down, specifically the people with a lot of money, then maybe you can determine that the market is going to go down because a lot of the biggest traders are thinking that it's going to go down. just different things like that. I think it's really cool to be able to see where whales are putting their money and how the market is reacting to different situations. I think it's always really exciting whenever you break a support or resistance to see how the whales are trading. And a lot of times I actually think it is a leading indicator on if there are trades, if there are multiple $1 million trades or shorts or longs that are going into the market, then I find that likely in the short term the market is going to head in that direction. So first off, you can see what the whales are doing and how they're making their trades, and you can actually adjust what the minimum volume you see on these trades are and how it presents it to you. So that's very, very cool. Now, what is this chart up here? This chart up here is a 10-second chart. So each of these candles are 10 seconds. Now you might be saying, well, this is completely ridiculous. I am never going to use this. This is actually very, very interesting for those last mile trades, as I mentioned before, because what these candles allow you to do is allows you to enter at the best time possible, as a lot of times with these short period candles, it really can predict those small trends. So, if there's one red candle, then you can probably expect that there are going to be a few more after, or maybe if there's a red candle, then you wait for a green candle to pop up before you enter that long position or that short position. So there are lots of things that you can do with these 10-second candles that I think are extremely good to enter those long-term positions and enter at a better level. But even if you're doing short-term trading, I think it could be helpful too, because it helps you find a better point to enter if you're making those really, really high-risk short-term scalps. So it's super useful for that. But then there are also these two lines right under it, and you might be thinking, well, what are those two lines? Is it just another indicator or something? These are actually the amount of longs and shorts at the current time. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most useful things on this website, because this helps me enter and exit my trades at the optimal level, because I can see when the momentum on the short term is going to stop. As many people know, Bitcoin is a very volatile asset. In one 1 hour candle, Bitcoin went down, something like 5%. So a lot of these moves are happening in the short term, and people aren't really looking at that. However, if you are using something like Aggr.trade, then you are able to see the longs and shorts and the momentum on the short term, so you can exit or enter a position at a better level. And if you look at these longs and shorts, you can find that there are actually sort of divergences and breakouts in these longs and shorts, and it really does help predict where the market's going to head. So, for example, if I'm looking right here at this move, you can see that the second the longs went above the shorts in this level right here, then you can see right here that we had a spike. Obviously, this is all very, very short-term trades, but you can see that we had a spike in Bitcoin all the way up to this level, and then it started to go down. And then once the shorts broke through the amount of longs, then we had a downturn in the market and went even lower. So how can you utilize this? As I mentioned before, if you are looking to short or you're looking to long, you can wait for one of these divergences to happen. You can wait for one of these breakouts to happen in order to either enter at a better level, or if you're looking to exit your trade, maybe you can wait for one of these breakouts to stop, wait for it to consolidate before you exit your position in order to exit at a better profit. Now, those are all small things that you can use with this software. And honestly, even though it doesn't sound that significant, even though it doesn't sound that crazy, it sounds like a simple little website that you can go to, I have absolutely loved it, and I use it now on almost all of my trades. So I highly recommend you use it, and I highly recommend you check it out. Make sure you use the link down in the description down below if you would like to go to this website. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Hopefully you will now trade more profitably. Even if you're only saving a couple of dollars per trade, that really does add up over time, because you don't really realize how much you trade, but once you start seeing that you're making maybe $1,000 extra in a year, you're making $100 extra in a month, that really does add up, and it's extra money, so why not take it? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and see you guys in the next one.